Hello, my Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6 players. Now, do you like my background? Thought I'd snip some of that beautiful images that we see in the trailer. I think first off, what we're going to talk about today is obviously the trailer. I'm going to play some games after if you want to hang around. But first things first, let's talk about some of the things about the play style of the game. There's been a lot of things on the mechanics which look super cool. I must admit, I do like the look of the game so far. My immediate, obviously, reaction to the game is that is a good one. When you see a game like this, you want to play it. Like, I want to play this game. I want to buy this game, which is really good for obviously newcomers and new players and existing players. Like, if the game looks beautiful, you instantly want to be a part of it. So the graphics, well done, Capcom. Even the whole the website's beautiful. The way the images interlay and the effects, the font, everything. There's a bit of care being taken this time. I think they've learned some lessons from last time. The game was a disaster. I'm surprised we even made it this far. If we look at the world tour mode, this is excellent. This is the kind of thing that is gonna expand the player base. And you see, the problem is a lot of people moan about the game being too easy, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But our first primary goal: get as many people playing the game as you can. That's goal number one. So stop this bitching about, everyone bitching about tournament money and it's not enough and, it's dead game. we gonna need things like this and custom, the layout mode, which we'll talk about in a bit. Easy inputs, all that stuff is all good stuff. That is not bad stuff. Don't let the top dogs put you off there. I like the idea of this world tour stuff. This is cool. Whether it's, I thought it would be really cool if, imagine when you're searching for a match, you search in the open world for a friend, and you're like, do you want to fight? That would be awesome. I don't think it'll be that. It might just be a little side quest. Maybe the tutorial is, maybe that's how you learn to play the game in the open world mode. But props, we need offline modes. We need lots of content. The game gets reviewed by people that don't play fighting games. I know. Like, all these outlets, those guys don't play games, so the game needs to hit hard day one. Excellent choice to put things like that in the game. Up next, we'll move on to the actual gameplay now. I made a video that was, it was going to be a little bit of a funny video, but it was going to have a point that it was about designing a fighting game. And I recorded some of it, but I won't release it because now we've got Street Fighter 6. But there was two characters in my video. We had Sagat, who was the pro player, and we had Tagas, Sagat backwards, obviously. That he didn't know anything about fighting games. And how I was going to make the video was Sagat would talk to Tagas, and Tagas would ask questions. You see, because Tagas doesn't know anything about fighting games, and one of the big things for me, from a beginner point of view and a visual, a casual spectator point of view, is even still Street Fighter 5 is very, very bad at letting the audience or the beginner players know exactly what's happening. A good example of this is counter hits. You can't expect new players or viewers to know the character's combos. So when, commentators are going wild because of a counter hit, and the only reason you know a counter hit, a normal counter hit, not a crush counter in Street Fighter 5, is that tiny message that comes up on the side. That is not good game design. That message doesn't make you think, I was going to get Sagat to go wild and Tagas was going to be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And he's going to be, didn't you see the counter hit? And of course, Tagas didn't see the counter. Who would see the counter hit? It's a tiny message at the side. So, looking at the gameplay here, my initial theory on my game design was I was going to make the character light up and an audible noise, and that's every counter hit, not just crush counters. I think Street Fighter 5 went halfway. They did the big crush counter, whoa, we've got a counter hit. They just didn't follow through with every counter hit. I would like to see that happen, because what we want to do is we want to stop people going to frame data and asking questions. We want them to find out in the game. We want them to ask the questions from the game. So if you had a character light up red, and I'm in the audience, I know nothing about fighting games. When I see the character light up red, I think that means something. And if I'm a beginner, I also think that means something. Now, you don't need to know what it is. You don't need to consult the frame data. If you know that when a character lights up red, bigger combos happen, that's as far as you need to go. You don't need to. We need to keep people away from the frame data and in the game itself. Same with viewers. So looking at this, I'm liking all the colors. If we look here, these big splashes of color, I'm hoping that it could have been this video here. Yes, this one. I'm hoping these colors are different for each drive mechanic. So maybe a yellow splash is drive, you know, overdrive and things like that. And something that will identify to the players and viewers that different things is happening, and also help those players level up. So I'm really loving the splashes and things like that. I don't know about it lying on the floor like that. That was a bit off-putting to me at first. But I'm sure it's just an image thing. Now, if we're moving on, Sagat was also going to talk about EX moves. And if we look here, this is Twitter. This is the Capcom feed. So I think this game is not going to have good zoning. Sorry, got cut off there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to have powerful zoning. I think that's a good thing. I think this is going to be a brawl type game. If you look at, we all know how fast Luke's fireball in Street Fighter 5 is. If you don't, if you're a new player and you're watching this video for some reason, the EX moves in Street Fighter 5 are generally unreactable. Things like Balrog's EX dash straight. I think of M Bison every EX move. They're too fast. Yeah, I think that devolves the game. It kind of cheapens the game for me a little bit when there's a lot of tactics going on, and then this bolt from the blue just hits you. So looking at this EX move here, this is very slow. I think I could definitely, I see Luke light, his shoulders light up, and he just about to throw the fireball. When I seen that, my first reaction to that is I can react to that. And that's the EX version. That's the better version. So a big pause there between when he throws that fireball. One of the things that Sagat and Sagat were going to talk about, I don't think they will do it for this game, is I would have liked to have seen the whatever EX move hits you, if it's plus, minus, or say it's armor break, they all have different colors. Again, I would like people to think, and viewers to think, and associate a red move or an orange move with this particular ability. I think the example I was going to do was Sagat was going to pick Nash, okay, because he liked Guile. So I was going to say, Sagat, what character are you going to pick? And he was going to pick Nash because he liked Nash, and he was going to use Nash's EX Scythe as a reversal. And of course, Nash's EX Scythe does not work as a reversal. It doesn't have invincibility frames. But there is nothing in the game that will tell you this. You have to consult the frame data or test it yourself. I don't like that. I think the game is best once we've got past the frame data. Now, there's a big argument to be made about, that's part of the game, it's part of game knowledge. But, at the end of the game, when everyone knows the knowledge, I find that that's the funnest part of the game, when everyone knows. In the start of the game, it's never that. It's always fun, but it's a bit chaotic. And I think to myself, how do we get quicker to the end? We're at Street Fighter 5, 4 or 5 years in, and now the game's good. That's too long. We need to get there faster, and that was one of the things. It doesn't look like they're going to do that here, but it does look like the moves are slowed down. So I would have liked to have seen different EX moves, different colors. So Invincible's red, and so say you got hit by a DP that was green, you would know that, okay, that move is not invincible. That's something else. Again, we are telling the players visually, what does that mean? And then they find out. Then they ask the questions. They don't have to consult data. Boring, boring, boring. Moving on, what else did we have? What was this part we were going to talk about? These graphics are so beautiful. Brilliant job, Capcom. I think this was another part I was going to talk about, was the hits. This is what leads, another thing that leads me to think that this game is going to be very beginner friendly. If you watch how Chun-Li spins back here, I think it might be after. Look at these big freezes, big pauses. That's what we want. I think that's a good game design. So because as it currently stands in Street Fighter 5, you can make a good read, but you're only halfway there. The difficult part is following through. So say you've done a parry, or you've countered something, you still have to finish it off. But these big pauses, they reward you for your read. You guessed correctly, you know. So Ryu was maybe even setting that up. EX moves again. Loving the splashes. I love that. But see these big pauses. There's lots of freezes, and then something happens. Perfect parry, it freezes, then something happens. I think that's a good game design. That says to me that they are taking beginners into consideration. Was it this one when she spins? Oh, I think I seen it on the Twitter. Hang on. It's this one here. So watch how slow Chun-Li spins here. This is obviously, even that hit stun there's big. See how she's reeling back? Lots, it looks like you could link something else from there. And watch this one. See how slow she spanned through the air? So the crush counter, some of the crush counters in Street Fighter 5, you have to be quick, real quick. Like Sagat, when you crush counter them with a heavy kick, you don't have much time to do that Kara uppercut. Not much time at all, but the way she spins through the air there, very slow. She's still spinning. So I can see that being another good selling point about Street Fighter 5 for beginner players. That it's going to be easy to connect hits. This is not bad, guys. This is not bad news. This is good things. See the way he parries things here? It's very obvious what's happening. Sparks, colors. I'm loving. They feel like they've got it. Like that looks like a V reversal that could be red there. This one, bang. So maybe red and orange is a defensive drive, and maybe yellow and blue is an attacking drive. I like those ideas. Again here, extremely big pauses once you have correctly read something or executed. Bang! Look at that slowdown on that. That's going to be easy for anyone. You're going to be able to see that miles off. And she goes into the super art, I think they're called now. Excellent stuff. So I think this game, it's not going to be as complicated as you think. It might have, and that's the goal. You want to make a game that's complex yet simple. That's the ultimate goal of a fighting game, I think. And just to finish off, the easy input stuff, don't worry about that stuff, guys. Look, I think you need that. Now, whether they decide to ban it in a tournament, because with a roster this large, there is absolutely going to be one or two characters that a pro can pick the easy input option and still play the character 90% effective. You know there just is. There's too many characters for there not to slip through the cracks. A couple of characters that benefit more from that control system than the classic control system. So whether they decide to ban it or there is another even bigger punishments, because I think as it is now you don't get access to all the buttons, but that's not going to matter to some characters. I think, you know, a lot of characters you don't need all the buttons. You could probably play them really effectively if you have that instant special move. So it'll be interesting. I think that's a good thing. Again, I've seen people bitching about it, some top dogs. We're far too far away to start complaining about the game. This is more than we thought we were going to get, and I'm all for. I won't use all in. I want everyone in, and we'll deal with it later. You know, that's just pride talking as well. You know, oh, the guy's using one button special moves. Well, kick his ass. You know, kick his ass in the classic and give him some shit talking the old versus screen with the nods. You know, it's a bloody fighting game. You know, so that's what I think, guys. I think it's looking, the future is looking bright. I think it's going to entice a lot of new players. Everyone's going to come in for a ride, and hopefully we're all good. So hope you enjoyed that.